back after we've cleaned up our mess, and now I'd like to start showing you actually how to make the sugar bottle mold. And the first step is to actually prep your beer bottle. Now, if you take a look at this beer bottle, you'll notice that I've removed the labels. We did that by holding it under hot water or soaking it in hot soapy water, and you'll find that you'll be able to peel the labels right off. One thing though is that the labels do have an adhesive that tends to stay on the glass, so you want to get some type of a remover like Goof Off and really get all the adhesive off, and you'll end up with just a beautiful shiny glass bottle. Now I like to make a sugar bottle mold of the entire beer bottle with the cap on. If you look at this sugar bottle, the cap duplicates very, very nicely, and if you want to make a beer bottle without a cap, then you have to fashion one out of chocolate or gum paste, and I just think that it's easier if you wanted just to paint the cap. Now, if you have an empty beer bottle and you want to seal it, you don't want to duplicate the bottle with the cap, what I like to do is, first of all, fill the bottle with water. You don't want an empty bottle filled with air. It's very, very buoyant, and it's going to increase the likelihood of the bottle floating off of your work surface when you pour the silicone over it. So we're going to add some weight by filling it with water. And after you've done that, I take just a hot glue gun, and I apply hot glue on the inside of the bottle, just very liberally. And I'll take a wine cork, and I'm just going to push it right down in there. Now you notice that I've wrapped the cork in plastic. The cork is porous, and it can allow what little air is in the bottle to actually come through, and it'll burp into your silicone, creating kind of a large bubble. So I like to seal it with plastic, and then I'll just take a knife and I'll just cut around the cork and right through. And you have a really, really good seal now. What I'll do is I'll take some Anchor-Dit or some Seal-Dit, and I'll just rub it into that cork because it's very porous, and we don't want the silicone sticking to the porous cork. Now, the next step is, if you notice the bottom of a beer bottle, it has an indentation. It's called a punt. And what this does is, this limits the amount of contact that we have with our work surface. So I take some safety clay, which is a non-toxic, reusable clay, never dries out. And what I do, if you look right here, I just filled the punt or the indentation. It's easy to do. You just pack it with clay and then just cut it straight with a knife. And it'll sit nice and level, and you've increased now the surface area that we have to connect the bottle to our work surface, and that'll hold the bottle, especially when we're pouring the silicone over it. Now, let me show you the bottle again on the bottom. You'll notice, first of all, wine bottles, beer bottles, just about any glass bottle is made and manufactured with a two-piece mold, and there is a seam line that is running on each side of the bottle. It's a good idea to place a mark that corresponds to where that seam line comes into the bottom. I'm going to explain why this is important later when we're actually unmolding this bottle. But right now, just mark the bottom of the bottle where the seam line intersects with the bottom, just like that. Okay, now that we have a solid bottom, what we want to do is we want to mount this bottle onto our work surface, and I'm I'm just using a flexible chopping mat here. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to take Anchor-Dit. Anchor-Dit is a stiff, non-toxic paste, and it serves as a temporary adhesive. And what I like to do is just kind of whip it up, and with an offset spatula, I'm just going to apply it on the bottom of my bottle. Now, you want to apply it about 1/16 of an inch thick. Okay, so once I've got a nice amount on there, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand my bottle right in the middle of my work surface, and I'm going to push down on it. Okay? And as I'm pushing down on it, you'll notice that the Anchor-Dit smushes out the bottom. And that's exactly what we want. You want to see a nice smush all the way around the bottom of the bottle. Now, this is a very tacky material, and it's going to hold the bottle in place. I have an example right here. I did it on plexiglass. And if we just turn this over, you can see how well the Anchor-Dit works at holding the bottle in place. That's going to be very, very important when we're actually pouring the silicone over the bottle. Now, what you want to do is take some tissue and wipe the smush away, okay? Just keep on using different parts of your tissue and just wipe that away. Okay? And just keep on wiping until you've cleaned all the excess that has smushed on the outside of the bottom of the bottle. Okay? And this will give us a really nice edge. What you have to realize is where this bottle is in contact with the work surface, that is going to be the opening to our mold. So we want that opening really, really nice and clean. Now, I'm going to get some tissues. And the last step that's really important, you notice that I was handling the bottle and there's fingerprints on here. The silicone is going to duplicate that. And what we want is a really, really shiny bottle. A shiny bottle is going to make a shiny mold. A shiny mold is going to make a shiny sugar bottle. So make sure that you really clean your bottle up nicely. Just like that. And now you've got a great bottle. It's mounted. We're ready for the next step.